What's up, wizards? It is Dev, Mtg. We like it, a magic, and today we are spending fat stacks of cash, just passing it out, being like, "Hey, give us some of this," making it downpour. Yeah, actually, that's why I'm using tokens, is I don't actually have fat stacks of cash, but I did have $5 to spend on cards, and that's what I did. But end of the day, learned a valuable lesson, as I so often do. It turns out that $5 is plenty of money to order a lot of decent cards that you might actually want to add to your collection, whether you're a commander player, cube player, maybe you just like the cards, which is a perfectly valid reason to order cards. So let me prove it to you. You can spend as much as you would on a booster pack and get plenty of cards that you can actually use. Imagine that. Let's see how we spent $5 on Wilds of Eldraine. And I'm your favorite Magic Channel's favorite Magic Channel. Best believe that the professor go bananas for my deck tech. And we're back. Like, subscribe, support us on Patreon, blah, blah, blah. I hope you do all that stuff, but I don't want to waste too much time on it. What I want to do is tell you the very first card I went for from Wilds of Eldraine. As soon as the set was available to purchase beyond pre-order, don't buy cards on pre-sale. It's not a good idea. But as soon as the set came out, I took a beeline. I got myself some seed money together. Got myself a copy of Ariette of the Charmed Apple. I was really excited about this card because I am an apple, but you have to say it a certain way, okay? You have to take your thumb and your forefinger and pinch your tongue. And while you're doing that, say the word apple. And the sound that comes out describes me perfectly. This card is for people like me, so I had to get a copy first thing. Okay, so first of all, she's Orzhov, black and white, my favorite color combination. In case I need to tell you that, do you not know that about me by now? Welcome to the channel. First video, have a seat. I like Orzhov. Aside from that, she's only 3 mana to cast. It's not a bad rate for a commander, especially one that does this awesome thing. It's like super unique, you know. Another thing you might know about me is that I like enchantments decks. Like a lot, like, you know, I'm building some of my first commander decks right now, and one that I've been working on for a while is Sit This Harvest Hand. One of my first cards I ever fell in love with was Verdurred Enchantress. I love enchantments and enchantress decks and stuff like that, and this is a really, really neat take on enchantress that I cannot wait to sit down and play a game of commander with. Plus, I've already built an Elasil Core commander deck. That's like one of the few commander decks actually I put together. It's like half the cards in that actually poured over to this nicely just because they're good Orzhov cards in commander. So I figured I had to get a copy of this, especially when I saw how cheap it was, man. Like, one interesting thing about this is that this art on screen is the one that I opted to get, and it is the one that's $1.49, less than $1.50 technically for this version of the card, which I think actually just looks cooler than the normal version of the card. But the normal version of the card is like $3, like twice as expensive as the alternate art version, which I think is just like kind of weird. So I decided to go ahead and pick up the alt art version because I kind of like the way it looks anyway. So just a really, really cool card that does awesome, unique stuff. I cannot wait to actually play a game of Commander with this, or even a game of Brawl with this. She looks super awesome. How do you like them apples? I like them a lot. However, this did present a logistical problem. It's the most expensive card in the order. And $1.50 isn't really big spending, but it is a pretty good chunk of our budget. So every card after I bought this was around 50 cents, but I was actually really surprised at what you can pick up for 50 cents from this set right now. I mean, it just released, and stuff like Yenna Red Tooth Region is already down to like 48 cents. Foil, I got this foil for 48 cents, which I think is crazy. I didn't pick up a whole lot of commanders from this set. This is just basically Ariette and Yenna, but Yenna is another commander. I think once you read the text box, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's a great commander. Yeah, just copying stuff in Commander. I don't know if you guys know this. It's a big thing about Commander. You can only have one of each card. So copying stuff like seems pretty ridiculous. I mean, this is 4 mana to play, but that's not like that much in Commander. It's not that much to activate, and it's really not too much to ask to have a thing or two out that you want to copy. I mean, I just think that this is being overlooked massively. It's one of the most attractive looking commanders in the entire set. Way under $1, half of $1 for a foil right now. I think it's ridiculous that's going on. It definitely looks like top 3 commanders from the set, at least, again, subjective opinion, but I'm really surprised she's not getting more love, but I'll cash in on that. 50 cents for a foil Yenna is something that I'll probably play for the next 15 years and maybe not even be tired of it after that, so I think this was a good pickup. Speaking of good pickups, though, the next thing that ended up on our cart was a foil copy of Elvish Archivist for 49 cents. Yeah, it's more than Yenna by a penny, by 1 penny. How are the cards from the set so cheap? It's a foil. It procs when artifacts come to play. It procs when enchantments come to play. I know it only happens once a turn, but it still looks like a righteous commander card. And if I never play it in a commander deck, it will end up in the cube. I can pretty much guarantee you that. Seriously, archive this one under busted. How is no one paying attention to the... What are you guys? Are there really that many more important cards in the set that this one is seeing absolutely no love whatsoever? Like, the market price was actually way lower than the price I ended up buying it for. It's like 25 cents market price for this. For this incredible looking 2-drop. It might not be like the best thing in standard or anything, or it might be, who knows, I don't know. But in Commander, at the very least, this looks like an unbelievable card. And again, I'll just repeat myself. If you are putting a cube together, how does this not look incredible to you? But we got to move on so I can stop having a conniption about the prices in this set. These first 3 cards I have talked a good bit about, but that's mostly because I felt like I got a really good deal. These are 3 of like the coolest looking cards in the set to me, subjectively, right? But I got them all for less than $2.50 total. So again, feels like I made out pretty well there, but I also had to pick up a Restless Fortress for these Orzhov Commander decks I've been building. But lucky for me, it's only 39 cents for this creature land right now, which is a really good deal. Again, the set just came out. You'd expect it to be like $1 or something. No, just less than 50 cents for a copy of this card right now. And imagine most Orzhov Commander players are gonna want it. I especially like to pick up lands that are important yet budget parts of Commander mana bases that can also attack, and even more importantly, probably here for my purposes, be sacrificed in my Orzhov deck. That's probably what I'm going to be doing a lot with this card. But anyway, I mostly picked this up out of necessity in my mind, but then I picked up something that I didn't have to buy at all. I got an Archon of the Wild Rose for 23 cents in foil. Again, a shiny Archon this time for less than 1 American quarter. Felt like a great deal, especially if I ever do build this Ariette deck. Really, really budget piece here, and it feels like it's going to hit the Commander table hard. Whether it's in, the Ariette deck that we make or the Yenna deck that we make, that could really do. This could do a lot in a lot of decks. It could just be in the Sithis deck that I'm making that. Like this actually goes in a bunch of different projects that I would like to start working on. And I felt like 23 cents for a foil copy was a great, just a good pickup. And this might even go down. It might go down. I don't care if it goes to 15 cents. Who cares? 23 cents is still a very reasonable deal for a card that's going to go in multiple Commander decks. And I'm building right now. But then I just wanted to keep gobbling up foil cards. So I grabbed a foil Food Fight for 50 cents. Again, I think this is a pretty good deal. Not the absolute best card in Commander or anything, because it plays in multiples and you can't have multiples in Commander unless you do like a Naya enchantments and you build with Yenna and then you copy your Food Fight. I don't expect this to be the most important Commander card in the world, but I still wanted it because I like it. Again, every now and again I'll order a card like that, and that's fine. That's perfectly valid reason to order a card. But if you wanted an actual reason why I really spent the 50 cents on this, it's because it might actually end up in cube. I think this is an interesting, kind of not game ending, but could be, sort of reach option for those like artifact decks in cube that are already, facilitated in the way I built my cube. You can build an artifact deck, and I think this might actually go sort of really well as a signpost in some, cube drafts for those kinds of decks. So I'm a little excited to try it out in that capacity. But again, even if I lift it out of the cube after a few tries, we still have our time together. I think it was worth 50 cents, especially considering the card is just undeniably very cool. I love the flavor on it, blah, blah, blah. Let's get to our next card, but I had to order a copy of Food Fight. It's just an awesome card. But then I bought myself one more foil. I got an Ingenious Prodigy for 40 cents. Come on. This one, I don't like to speculate too much. I really don't, but I just feel like in a few years, this is going to be worth more than 40 cents. I might be wrong. It could just be like bargain bin garbage no one remembers. No one can see the future, but I just got a feeling like this thing is really good in EDH. Really good. I've seen EDH players say that. So why isn't it more expensive? We got a foil copy of this card who is just cute as the Dickens for 40 cents. And it's a scalable, possible, mono blue 7/7 or whatever, that Howling Minds you and nobody else every single turn. Come on, man. I know for a fact that Commander players are into this card right now. I've seen plenty of you talking about it online. So just how come it's not a little bit, can we get some love for my guy here, man? I don't know, dude. Just something really, really cool about this card. And I've said that about a couple of cards today, obviously. But this one was a combination of speculation. Oh, wow, 40 cents for a foil seems like a good deal. As well as, I'm going to play this card. So there's a couple of blue Commander decks that I am unbelievably working on right now. So like this could slot in somewhere. But again, even if I never play it in a single game of Commander, I'm just happy to have it because it's an awesome card. But the moment I put a Commander deck together that I'm playing Islands in, I'm pretty sure I'm slotting this in just to see if it does work. And I'm pretty sure it does. But then we got our one and only Enchanting Tales of the entire order. I kind of thought when I started this that I would order more of these, but no, we just ended up with one. 38 cents for a copy of Sanguine Bond. Again, that seemed like a decent deal to me. I don't know about you, but it seemed all right to me. I actually don't have a Sanguine Bond. I've never had a Sanguine Bond in my life, and I've always kind of wanted one. Like I say, I build Orzhov Commander decks, so you better believe I want a Sanguine Bond. So now I'm going to not only have one, but have a really awesome looking one too. So I don't know. I'm excited about it. I kind of do wish I had more room in my tummy and in my budget for more Enchanting Tales cards. But if I'm going to get a single one, why don't I make it maybe my favorite card they actually made an Enchanting Tales out of that I've never actually gotten a chance to play with? I have always looked at Sanguine Bond and just kind of drooled over it, and now I get to actually see what it's like when you cast it and resolve it, so I can't wait for that. Man, just drain effects become so much better, and lifelink is busted now, and there's multiple infinite combos that are super easy to put together with the card. Just, I could sit here and daydream about what I'm going to do with Sanguine Bond for the rest of this video, but I think I've already done enough of that for the last 10 years. Why haven't I ever had a copy of this card? Now I do. I guess I'm happy. But anyway, next to last card of the order, yeah, we picked up a copy of Lord Skitter's Blessing for 50 cents. Borderless. And here's the interesting thing about this. The borderless version is like half as expensive as the regular version. I think the regular one is like $1.25, $1.35. This one, market price of about 50 cents. Surprised me, but I will say that I like bordered cards more than borderless. And so maybe there's just a bunch of people like me out there who are like, borderless cards kind of booty, a little bit ugly. I'm not sure how I feel about them. So just let me know in the comments section how you feel bordered versus borderless. Let me know. It's an interesting discussion. I want to know how you feel. But one way or the other, I was a little, my flabber was gasted at the price of this card. A lot of people talking about this thing in the preseason, especially in terms of Commander. It's a Phyrexian Arena. You pay one less for and a bubble do, I keep hearing stuff like that. And yet the card is supremely cheap to buy right now. It's just kind of amazing to me, It is kind of a Phyrexian Arena, especially for this Ariette deck that I keep like bringing up in this video that I am going to build. You go in there. But, it's just incredible in that. And it's incredible in almost any black Commander deck, period. You don't even have to have a whole lot of other auras to facilitate it. It just kind of facilitates itself. And maybe you can blink it and get another Wicked Roll token or whatever, there's ways to make this thing work sort of on its own. So again, a lot of people talking about this thing and cost absolutely not zero, but very little money to actually get a copy of this. So I want to draw an extra card every turn. Don't you want to draw an extra card every turn? It's a pretty good deal here. And then last card of the order, we did not have a whole lot left, but I was able to pick up a copy of Godric for 17 cents. That's how this market price on this thing right now is like 22 cents. Which is unbelievable. It's so good. I mean, he goes in all of the Dragon Commander decks, or at least most of the Dragon Commander decks. He's kind of got a Dragon Anthem on him. Dragon Commander decks are really popular, so I'm just surprised that for that reason alone, he's not a little bit more expensive, but he is already popping up in a lot of people's early sort of mono red lists and stuff like that, a lot of speculation, and Godric is looking good. There's some awesome lines with him, so just Kimana faces Kakazan on turn 1. Turn 3, Godric flies over. So just this is showing up already, and it's going to show up until the end of time, I assume, in a bunch of those EDH builds. So again, just super amazed. This was only 17 cents. Like I said, we didn't have much to spend left on the order, but I figured we'd have to pick up like an uncommon or something. But no, we actually ended up getting one of the rares that I am most excited about in the entire set. Not only because he's like a good looking card, but he's a good looking man. You see how handsome that guy is? I can stare at that guy whenever I want to now. I got a copy of the card. That's good. And that was the entire order. Here's the card right now, just so you know I'm not lying to you. We really did get all these cards for about $5.03, a total of 10 items, which is kind of a lot of cards, especially considering, again, all of these have some use somewhere in my collection. So again, we learned that just as little as $5 can get you a bunch of brand new cards that you're actually going to play in your collection. Now, of course, I'm not going to lie. There were some cards from this set I would have liked to have ordered and couldn't in this order, and I'll eventually get around to doing it. But again, just starting out with this set, $5 was plenty to get me a bunch of cards that I was really excited about. But that's all we got for this one. So just let me know how you would have spent your $5 down there in the comments section, what cards you're most excited to get your hands on paper copies of from this set. I know there's got to be one or two of you that want 1 or 2 cards from the set. There's still some Paper Magic players out there. So just let me know how you felt about all the stuff, how you just spent your $5. And of course, weigh in on bordered versus borderless. I'm really actually for real interested in how you guys feel about that. But anyway, we've reached the self-promotion part of the video. Don't click away. I'm not going to waste your time too much on it, just like the beginning. I respect your time. I think you're a good person, and I wouldn't do that to you. So all I'm going to really say is just like, subscribe, do the stuff. You can watch me play Magic on Twitch at this web address, and you can support me on Patreon down here too. It's what really keeps the lights on around here. So if you want to help out, it's just $1 a month, and you can vote on what decks we're doing this season for Wild's Eldraine Standard. Aside from that, couch card of the day. You see how quickly and efficiently I'm getting better at advocating for myself. I still don't like it. I feel slimy. So I guess if you want to do any of that stuff, do it. But let's pick a card up off the couch. Let's see what we get today. I'm looking up here into my light fixture, which is actually like a pretty old lady looking light fixture now that I really focus on it. But anyway, what is this card? Do I even know what this does? I'm about to say that this is one of my favorite cards from Ice Age, but I think it's just because I always liked the card without actually knowing what it does. So here is a Lapis Lazuli Talisman right here. From the Age of Ice. It is 2 mana for an artifact. You pay 3 to untap target permanent. Use this ability only when a blue spell is successfully cast, and only once for each blue spell cast. So there's probably some kind of go nearly infinite or all the way infinite if you just like untap a permanent that taps for more than 3 mana. Right? But you got to cast blue spells in between. I don't know. There's a way to make this work, but I just always really liked the way the card looks. I always thought the card looked awesome. This is how I know what Lapis Lazuli was. So when Steven Universe came on, there was a character called Lapis Lazuli. I was like, oh, okay, I know what that is. I won't do it. So yeah, just a cool card. A cool card that I've always had like kind of an affinity for, but I would not have been able to tell you what that text box was before actually reading it. Neat couch card today. I like that one. But anyway, I'm done talking. I've had enough of it. So you get down there in the comment section. Let me know how you felt about the goings on. And I will see you again very soon with Green White Rabbits, the deck tech. Anyway, just so you know, that's what the patrons picked. They're good at picking decks. But I love you all, and I will catch you cats later. I'm Dev from the place. Thanks for watching, Wizards. Spread love and be kind.